and welcome to another Teacher's Corner. I'm Teacher Kirby, and today we're going to be talking about how to change the default key assignment for your character. So I'm coming at you from my scimitar bridge. Ain't it lovely? Looks like the movie. Alright, so the first things first, we're going to have to find where our default key assignments are. To find that, we're going to click, my goodness, click on the cog along the mini map. Okay, so this cog is right here above the question mark. That gives you all the lovely information. So this gives us the main menu, and we're going to click on options. Okay, and you'll see, oops, I don't want space, we're in ground. Alright, so as you can see here, we're seeing the ground set of keybinds, and it is currently set to RPG keybinds. This means when you're not in shooter mode. Okay, so if you like to play in shooter mode, which I don't, but some people do, so if you like to play in shooter mode, you're going to click this drop down menu and you're going to click shooter keybinds. The process after that will be the same. Since I like to play an RPG, I'm going to leave it there. Now you'll notice my first few things, all my movement buttons, are not bound. This is because I use my mouse to move, so I've actually reassigned what these used to be to something else. When you reassign something, it clears it. So if I were, for example, to reassign X, which is how I go into my aim mode, then the X in aim mode would disappear. So if I were to assign that to move forward, for example, I assign by clicking, and it's showing Alt plus because I'm holding down my Alt key. But if I were to click on, you'll see it's highlighted, right? So if I click on it and I release my Alt key and type X, you'll see the X is here now on move forward, but the X for aim mode has disappeared. And you'll see when I put it back, now the X for move forward has disappeared. So you only get one shot. You can't have keys, the same key, doing two things. Okay? So that is important. Alright. So, because I use my mouse, I don't care what these buttons were. So I just use those buttons for something else, knowing that it would clear off what these were and they would disappear. Now if you don't like using your keyboard, you can click right here where it says show keyboard. Now you'll notice the Alt button is red. That's because I'm holding it down to talk to you, because I have push to talk. Now you can, of course, there you go. You can change the keyboard, and you'll notice it's got these buttons highlighted as well as these and a few other buttons, standard use. Okay, these are things that are bound to different things by, okay, and that you therefore should not use. Okay, now so these are ones that doesn't matter if I'm holding down Alt or not. You'll see when I release Alt, it's going to light up a bunch of things because I do have them bound. The ones that of course remain gray, like the apostrophe and some of the other keys, caps lock, for example, remain gray because they are not bound to anything. So those would be the ones that you could bind to something and not remove the key. Okay, so that should make sense to you. So that's a handy little thing with the keyboard. If you're not sure what you have bound, you can show keyboard and it will show you what is bound and what is not. Okay, alright, so you can see I left my jump on my spacebar. That is default. Run is shift. X and C for aim and crouch are default. Z for switch weapon is default. Okay, so some things I did leave as they were. Interact as F is default. Shooter mode as B, scan as V, these are both default. Okay, and escape, of course, is default. Alright, and here we go. Now you can change the numbers and letters used to activate the skills in your tray. So you'll notice if you look closely at my tray, tray 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. This is normal. Now normally they have control 1, 2, control 2, control 3, control 4 for your second tray. I did not want to do that because I don't like having to press more than one key. That's just me. I have problems with my hands. If I can press one key, that's a lot better. So I went through and I reassigned a single key. In this case, I reassigned the top line of my keyboard. So QWERTYUIOP for my tray 2. And then I went down and I assigned the second line of my keyboard to tray 3. If I were to have a tray 4 up here, then I would assign the third line of my keyboard to that. Okay, so I can put whatever I want as my trays. So I've reassigned, you can see here is where you do that. So I've reassigned these here. Okay, so that's how we do it. Simply by clicking and pushing the key that I want to go there. So in this case, I'm holding down Alt so that I can speak. But if I wanted to reassign it to L, I simply push L, and as you can see, now it's L, but it's taken L from this one. Now, of course, I want to put it back, so there, I've done that. Okay, so as you can see, I've got a whole bunch of things that I can, here we go, that I can control. I've got inventory, crew assignments, skills, status, people, missions, captain's log. These are all things that I can assign to various keys. Would let me open them up very quickly if I wanted to do that. I can even assign reputations. So pull up traits. Alright. And of course, start chatting, I've left it default. Reply to tell, I've left it default. Okay. So there are a few things I've left at default and a few things I haven't. So as you can see, I have quite a few of my things I have changed. But some of these things I have left at default. And you can do this by character. Now I'm showing you ground. You can of course do this in space. This is ground because I'm on the ground. The default is it will change depending on your map. So if I leave ship interior, it will take me to where I was before. And before I went to the ship, I was in the Chronos system, which is of course in space. So now if I go through the same process, I open up my cog, click on options, and now we're seeing the space, what Cryptic calls keybinds. So as you can see here, I do have some keys assigned to my movement. I still use my mouse for piloting, but I tried out using my keyboard, and I just never got around to unassigning these. But as you can see, I have changed up my things here as well. Throttle forward, throttle back. Okay, so I've changed these on purpose. I've got quite a few things here and quite a few things that are not assigned. The process is the same. Highlight what you want, click the key that you want or push the key that you want, and bada boom, bada bing, it's done. So as you can see, now this toggle mouse look is assigned to number pad 2. Now if I want to, and same rules apply, only one key per activity. So if I want to put it back, and now you see the number pad 2 has disappeared. Okay, so it is the same rules that apply. I've reset my interact to number pad 8 here, for example. Alright, you can set your power level presets to a certain key. You can do all kinds of things. Okay, so as you can see, there are lots of things that you can change, that you can do. Your skills are also here. You'll notice I have a 4th tray, so it does allow me to assign my 4th tray. Okay. Alright. And if I were to open this up, whoops, that's not the one I wanted. If I were to open this up and put 3 trays and then close this and open it up again and scroll down, then I would now have, whoops, it doesn't let me do it, but I will be able to assign those later. Alright, so I'm going to take those back to 1. Alright, and of course I have all these things that I can assign to be able to call up if I choose to. Okay, and of course I don't have any of them assigned, but that's because I have reassigned those keys. And of course I have a few things that I have left on either there. Well, this is default, this is default. Okay, this is default, that's default, that's default. So I have a few things that I have left on default and a few things that I have not. Alright, so this has been reassigning your default key assignments, and hope you learned something here. So this allows you to put things the way you wish to put them, customize your STO experience. You can hear the discussion of Teacher's Corner live on the Pilot Review Show every Saturday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. I look forward to seeing you there.